Good morning. Hello. Welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. I am so glad you joined us today. It's so wonderful to have live people here in our midst. Really good to see some familiar faces. Thanks to all of those who have tuned in today. Welcome to the middle of May. We have a very exciting service for you today. A great message and some great music. We're going to start off by singing together. Let's make some music. Let's sing Higher Place by Daniel Namod. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I do. Happy Sunday from the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Linda Brewer, and we welcome all of you who are here with us and all of you who are joining us from home as part of our virtual love streaming community. You are each a blessing to us all. Our practitioner sharing a reading and leading us in prayer this morning is Topher Steele, and our practitioner holding high watch is Farrell Zeman. Throughout the service, he will be in prayer, knowing that the best and highest is unfolding as we share this sacred time together. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among religions. We honor every pathway by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness so that we can help make the world a better place. Please join me in rededicating ourselves to why we are here by saying together our purpose statement. We are an open, welcoming community, celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journeys of spiritual discovery. Thank you. The very best way to find out 24/7 what's happening within our community is to visit our website at www.spirituallyfree.org. We have really dedicated ourselves since March of 2020, when life as we knew it changed forever, to updating our website the very minute that changes happen so that you can always have access to the latest information. You can also go there to submit a prayer request, send us a message about anything you want us to know, and read about the speakers, the leaders of our center, our musical guests, our band members, and others who serve our center. And if Raj and Rob would just get me their bios and pictures, you could read about them too.
Yeah, Raj.
So just a reminder, if you're physically present here with us, we're so glad to have you back. Please do continue to wear your mask while you're here. Drew will speak a bit at the annual meeting about possible coming changes to our safety protocols. So please be patient as we figure out the best way to move forward safely together. Our theme this month is Holy, Holy Uprising, and our speaker this morning is our own dear Reverend Myrna Hirst. Her topic is It's All God. Next week, Reverend Linda Brewer will be our speaker. Oh, that's me. All right, so today, following the service, as soon as we can get the room set up the way we need it for what comes next, we will be having our annual meeting for the business of the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. You'll hear from our candidates for president and vice president. That's Drew Binkert and Robert Wetzel, respectively, as well as reports on what's been happening this last year, gratitude for the amazing folks who have kept us going through very, very challenging times, and what's on the horizon as we move forward into our wonderful future together. The meeting will be live streamed, and we hope everyone here will plan to stay, and the rest of you, please stay and join us online. You must be a member and physically present in order to vote. If you haven't renewed your membership, please do so as soon as the service ends. If you're a Big Sky Retreat fan, it is happening in person this year, and the early bird special rates are in effect through the end of June. Please check out the website for a lot more information about that in order to register. And as I do whenever I'm up here, I remind you that our center was founded on and is grounded in prayer, which allows us to deal with whatever comes our way and to help create a positive experience regardless of what's going on. Our professional prayer practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer, and they stand so very ready to pray with you. So if you want, please, if you're here, the prayer box is out there. You can fill out a request. If you're live streaming, you can do it on the website. And if you do that, it will go out to all the practitioners who will pray for you this week. If you want personal contact, let us know that if you submit the request, and we will have them give you a call. We are very hopeful that very soon we will be able to safely resume our wall of prayer during the Sunday services. So please know that with me, because we miss doing that, and I know that you all miss being able to have that. So right now I want to invite you to settle in, allow Topher's reading and the centering music to connect you to that sacred space within you, and then Topher will lead us in prayer.
This too is God. We all come from different paths, families, and backgrounds. We see things differently, and our perspectives are based on our personal experience. We learn to love, to show compassion, and we express it in our own language. We speak with different dialects and tones, and also emotions. When asked what the color of red is, we search through our minds to best describe it. Yet, it is still individual. We live lives that best meet our needs, desires, and feelings. We are tall, short. We are light, brown, or black. We celebrate life itself, our own life, personally and with passion. Yet, all of these things add up to, this too is God. So in this moment, knowing that this presence, is in and through me as it is in and through you. It is through everything, through our breath, our heartbeat, our friendships. And I know right here and now that Spirit is present. It flows with grace and ease in and through you and me. And I know that this too is God. It is in the hug and the experience of joy. It is in the look and the catch of an eye of a stranger with a smile. This too is God. And it flows with such perfect harmony with your spirit, with my spirit. And wherever you are, God is. And that makes it holy ground. And wherever you go, and whatever you do, in your expressions, in your actions, and your thoughts, there too God is, inspiring you, guiding you, filling you with hope and love, compassion, and grace. These and so many more are just oozing from you. And so let it be. Let this knowledge permeate all the way through to the very cell of who you are. Knowing that there is no distance between you and God, and that it flows like a butterfly all around you with joy and happiness. I know that this is truth. I express it, I feel it, and so I know it for me, and I know it for you. So I release this prayer into the action of the law, and I allow God to be magnificent, magical, and loving. And so in this moment, together we say, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Topher. The theme for the month is Holy, Holy Uprising. It's a beautiful way to look at spring. And you think of all the evidence of springtime pushing up through the soil and sometimes the rocks to make itself known, to show its fullness and beauty. And a revolutionary way to look at that, too, is springtime is saying, hey, look at this in a different way. Let's look at this, like we sang the first song, from a higher place, a different paradigm. This next song we'll sing together is called Revolutionary. It's by Josh Wilson. It's a really fun song, and I hope you sing along. 1, 2, 3.
Maybe you're not like me, maybe we don't agree, maybe that doesn't mean we gotta be enemies. Maybe we just get brave, take a big leap of faith, call a truce so me and you can find a better way. Let's take some time, open our eyes, look and listen, yeah. And we're gonna find we're more alike than we are different, yeah. Why does kindness seem revolutionary? When did we let hate get so ordinary? Let's turn it around, flip the script, judge slow, love quick. What have turn the TV down, drowning their voices out, 'cause I believe that you and me can find some common ground. See, maybe I'm not like you, but I'll walk a mile in your shoes if it means I might see the world the way you do. Let's take some time, open our eyes, look and listen. Yeah, 'cause we're gonna find we're more alike than we are different. Yeah. Why does kindness seem revolutionary? When did we let hate get so ordinary? Let's turn it around, flip the script, judge slow, love quick. God help us get revolutionary. Whoa, revolutionary. Whoa, let's get, whoa, revolutionary. Whoa. What would Jesus do? He would love first. He would love first. Yeah. What would Jesus do? He would love first. Yeah, he would love first. So we should love first. Why does kindness seem revolutionary? When did we let hate get so ordinary? Let's turn it around, flip the script, judge slow, love quick. God help us get revolutionary. Whoa, revolutionary. Whoa, let's get, whoa, revolutionary. God help us get revolutionary.
Thank you. My privilege to introduce our special music today. We've had a lot of requests to have her back. I'm so grateful that things have opened up enough to have some of these musicians come back and share their gifts with us. Mel Soul has been very busy. It's really exciting to see these artists get back in their game. She was part of the Tulip Festival, the Yes Horizon Music Festival. She's got a podcast coming up with Murphy and the Giants. Be sure and look at her Facebook page. You'll see all the things that Mel is involved with and how she is blossoming into our community. Let's give it up for Mel Soul, sharing her beautiful music.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. I thought I'd do the 2 love songs for you guys today that I actually wrote. Most singer-songwriters, if you know anything about Taylor Swift, they do lots of breakup songs, but these 2 are actually love songs. So this one's called Fools. Who's to say if one is better than the other? Maybe we're both perfect for each other, and the world may try to tear us apart, but we know who we are, and if we're fools, might as well fall in love, might as well fall in love. If we're fools, might as well fall in love. Between the both of us, might as well. People look at us like we're both crazy, as our shapes don't match the status quo. And no one ever said that normal was interesting. we're fools, we might as well fall in love between the both of us. Love has its flaws, just like us fools. It's worth the risk, even if we lose and if we're fools, might as well fall in love between the both of us. If we're fools, might as well fall in love, might as well fall in love. If we're fools, we might as well fall in love, might as well, might as well. If we're fools, might as well fall in love between the both of us. We might as well. Thank you.
Wow, we might as well fall in love, don't you think? I think I'll do it from a distance. I've had 2 husbands. They each had great dogs. I said if I was ever tempted to get married again, I'd just get a good dog. The dogs were way better. Anyway, 19 years ago, when marriage to the aforementioned second husband fell apart, and I crawled into this center quite broken, and the first person I met was our speaker today, Reverend Myrna Hirst. If we didn't have her, we'd have to invent her, because there's pretty much not much of anything that the woman either can't do or hasn't already done. In the time I've known her, she has... How many times did you start ministerial school? 10 years total, but she was in and out and in and out, but she finished, and she's ordained, and she is such a blessing to us. But I'm guessing I'm not the only one who's here because of the way Myrna welcomed me to this center and then helped me get involved and get to know people. She said, hey, you want to do name tags? And I quite frankly, for a very, very long time, thought that Myrna walked on water. I now know her better. And so I know she's human. And I was thinking today, Myrna, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell on you. When I first knew Myrna, she had a knee-jerk reaction if you said God around her. Her talk title today is, It's All God. Please welcome Reverend Myrna Hirst.
Thanks, Linda.
You're so
Linda is one of my favorite people. I have to say that because, you know, she's... Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Oh, my gosh, what a wonderful place to be, isn't it? Oh, Topher, first I got to start with you, honey. During his prayer, he said 2 things that mean a lot to me and have a lot to do with what we're talking about today. The first one is, God is never far from where you are. And the second one is, wherever you are is holy ground. You know, those are really profound ideas. Because God is where you are right now. You can't be far away from it. You notice I didn't say him or her. You cannot be separate from that God, which is the energy that created the universe, because it's who you are. The one that we forget, though, and this is a great way to start this talk, is wherever you are is holy ground. It's easy to say it because where I'm standing right now is very clearly holy ground. Mel Soul, thank you. Music fills my heart. And the rest of the music, and even Linda. I do get even. It's all holy ground. And we know that. And I know that for you that are out there in your jammies drinking coffee and watching this on the screen, that too is holy ground, because it's one of my favorite holy grounds. But we don't think sometimes about being on holy ground everywhere we go. So, is driving down a busy freeway, is that holy ground? Yeah. Standing in line at the grocery store? Yeah. The dentist's office? Yeah. Think about that. If wherever you are is holy ground, then God is everywhere. It is all God. One of the favorite people in my life was Terry McBride. Some of you may remember him. He's been here several times, and he was just the closest thing to God I know. He used to always say, and that's why the title of this talk is, It's All God. Because he would say, it's all God, and the rest we make up. Really? Well, yeah, really. Absolutely, really. God is in the things that we love, and God is in the things that we avoid. And every place we are is holy ground. Thank you, Topher. That's my talk. We're done. Not even close. Mark Nepo wrote in the Book of Awakening this nice story. There was a woman who found a folded sponge all dried and compressed, and tucked inside the hardened fold was a message that she'd been seeking. She carried the hardened sponge to the sea, and up to her waist in the deep, she watched it unfold and come to life in the water. Magically, the secret of life became visible in the bubbles being released from the sponge, and to her amazement, a small fish, trapped in sleep in the hardened sponge, came alive and swam out to sea. From that day on, no matter where she went, she felt the little fish swimming in the deep, and this, the swimming of the little fish that had so long been asleep, gave her a satisfaction that was somewhere between peace and joy. The point is, whatever our path, whatever the color or grain of our days, whatever riddles we must solve to stay alive, the secret of life somehow always has to do with awakening and freeing of what has been asleep. Like that sponge, our very heart begs to unfold in the waters of our experience. Now, I don't know about you, but I've felt kind of quarantined ever since last March. Can you agree with that? And now that we're coming alive and being able to be awake again, like that little fish unfolding in the prison of his sponge or her sponge, I'm a little hesitant to climb out of that cave that I've been in. Because in the last year, I don't know about you, but I have been taught not to trust people anymore. You know, wearing this thing, you can't tell whether I'm smiling or crying. You can't tell who I am or what I'm doing because all you can see is my eyes. All of the challenges that we've had in the last year challenges in terms of personal freedom, of being able to breathe even, of learning not to trust anybody else, and certainly not anybody who is not wearing a mask, of not being able to feel free to walk outside. Those things have all restricted us to the point where we are now strangers to each other. And that's a little scary. Because now when I get to walk outside without my mask, we actually, different story, went out to lunch the other day to one of these little food carts, the trucks that go around. Wonderful fish and chips. But nobody there was wearing a mask, and we were standing fairly far apart around this truck. And I was hesitant to get out of the car because nobody was wearing a mask. Now, I find myself more afraid than I want to be about life. We don't trust each other anymore, and we need to. Another quote, this one is from the material that was sent to us. So many taboo topics, many of us will not touch. Each of these must also be God, right? All of the things that we don't talk about. Holy ground being in the dentist's office, for heaven's sakes, who could imagine? No matter the political affiliations, sociological, cultural experiences, religious and spiritual paths, are they also God? Yes, they are, right. What could shift if we communicated courageously, openly, and vulnerably about the things that many of us avoid? We are so good as metaphysicians about believing that the world is wonderful and sweet and everything's going to be okay and we don't have to worry about anything and there is nothing that we are going to talk about that isn't lovely and sweet and nice. And you got to remember, guys, if it's all God, so does all of the stuff that we don't want to talk about. We really need to begin to be able to say what we need to say about anything. If Terry is right, if it's all God and the rest we make up, isn't it time that we begin to understand the difference between the things we don't want to talk about and the things that we're happy to talk about and find a bridge so that we can talk honestly about everything, so that everything about what we are doing and everything that we live in this life becomes a part of God? Then we can make honest choices about life. Does that make sense? I hope so. Here's another one. Don't be confused over appearances. Instead of avoiding conversations that are uncomfortable, and do we do that? Yes. Many of us participate in something we call spiritual bypass. Instead of looking at something that is clearly not good and being able to say that's not good, we just prefer to avoid even talking about it. That's spiritual bypass. We say, I don't see color. Yeah. Let's not get political. How do you not? When in truth, failing to address obvious societal issues causes alienation within our communities and within our lives. That's a very tough kind of phrase to talk about. So if it's all God, I didn't even get to talk with Raj about that, or I didn't talk with. Do I have a slide, Raj? Okay, there it is. I think you may have seen this before. This is what we call the teaching symbol for the science of mind, and I don't know that there are a lot of people who don't know what this is, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. This is kind of the way God works. Okay. And we all kind of know it, really. You get an idea, and then you put it into being, and it turns out to be okay, right? Like Rick and Shemaine just bought a new house. They had in their mind that they wanted to buy a new house, and guess what showed up? Because it always does. A new house. The process of making that happen, though, or making anything happen, means that there's a place when you get an idea, and you put it into the law, and the law does the work. Now, the thing that we talk about mostly when we talk about this is planting a garden, and it's garden time. So if I want to start a garden and I want to grow zucchini, squash, carrots, and I don't know, what else? I buy the seeds, I set the soil, and I put the seeds in the ground. And then I leave it alone, because I don't want to go in every Sunday or every day and dig up the garden and make sure it's growing. There comes a time when you turn it over and let nature take its course. And then what happens is you get a product. Does that make sense? If I plant carrot seeds, what do I get? Peas? Rhubarb? No. If I plant carrot seeds, the only thing I can get is? Okay. So if I put into my mind the idea of having a world that works for everyone, and I really believe that, and I say what I need to say about it to whoever I need to say about it to, then what do I get? A world that works. If I have in my mind that things aren't working so well, that the world's out to get me, that I don't trust people anymore, that this COVID has wrecked my life, what am I going to get? A wrecked life, of course. This is so simple, isn't it? And yet, we kind of forget this middle part sometimes. We kind of realize that it is all God, and the rest we make up. And the stuff that we make up gets stuck in that middle part. Does that make sense? So if I think I believe that I can have all of the money and all of the power that I want in the world, and I put that into the law, and somewhere in the law, I have a little hidden belief that says you don't deserve that, what am I going to get? I can talk all day about having money and power and all of the good, but as long as I don't believe it's true, what I'm going to get is what I really believe. So we get to work on this middle part. And that's what Terry meant when he was talking about the rest we make up. Because we can think good thoughts all the time, but if there's stuff hiding in that middle place that is our negative belief, what we're going to get is continuing to get the same thing that we've always gotten. So, there you go. You gotta decide what your truth is, and then once you know what's in that middle place for you, then then changes can really be made. And I think it's time for us to do that now. I think it's time for us to begin to say it's time to come back into the world that does work for everyone. It's time to be able to say, I've been vaccinated, but even if you haven't, it's time for us to learn to live with each other again. It's time to trust again. It's time to believe again, instead of that everyone is out to get us or we're afraid of people. It's time now to say to ourselves, I trust that the world is going to work right. I trust that my life is going to be complete, and I trust that I'm going to have good health. And I can trust that wherever you are on this path, whether you choose to wear a mask or not, whether you choose to be vaccinated or not, the fact is we are all God's in expression. And I am going to create the life I want for myself using this. And that includes trusting you and everybody else I meet to do the best that they know how. Because I know that when I do that, my world's going to come out all right anyway, one way or the other. Here's a new truth. Many Americans say 2020 made them more aware of the needs of others and more selfless than ever before. Have you heard that one? We don't hear it much on the news. They've donated a portion of their paycheck, taken out their neighbor's trash, shoveled out a stranger's car. After the past year, said a researcher, people are looking to better the lives of others and their communities because they envision a greater purpose. Scott Aubrey said that. I think that's a really good belief to put into that spot. What do you think? I can remember all of the times that I have seen people, restaurateurs, going to places where there's poverty and lack and passing out food. I know that you've seen that too, and yet we tend to focus on the bad instead of good because I don't know why, but we do. It's time to begin to trust each other again. Here's a great story. Do you remember John Lewis? Do you know who I'm talking about? Okay, the fellow that crossed the Edmund, whatever it is, bridge and was so involved in the movement for anyway, you know who he is. Here's a story that he told. I love this story. He said about 15 of us children were outside my Aunt Seneva's house playing in her dirt yard. The sky began clouding over, the wind started picking up, lightning flashed far off in the distance, and suddenly I wasn't thinking about playing anymore. Has anybody lived in the South? Do you know how tornadoes work? They're terrifying. Aunt Seneva was the only adult around, and as the sky blackened and the wind grew stronger, she herded us all inside her little house. Her house was not the biggest place around, and it seemed even smaller with so many children squeezed inside, small and surprisingly quiet. All of the shouting and laughter that had been going on earlier outside had stopped. The wind was howling now, and the house was starting to shake. We were scared. Even Aunt Seneva was scared, and then it got worse. Now the house was beginning to sway. The wood plank flooring beneath us began to bend. And then a corner of the room started lifting up. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. None of us could. This storm was actually pulling the house toward the sky, with us inside. That was when Aunt Seneva told us to clasp hands, line up and hold hands, she said, and then as we did as we were told, then she had us walk as a group to the corner of the room that was rising. From the kitchen to the front of the house we walked, the wind screaming outside, sheets of rain beating on the tin roof. Then we walked back in the other direction as the other end of the house began to lift. And so it went back and forth, 15 children walking with the wind, holding that trembling house down with the weight of our small bodies. More than half a century has passed since this day, and it has struck me more than once over these many years that our society is not unlike the children in that house. Rocked again and again by the winds of one storm or another, the walls around us seeming at times like they might fly apart. It seemed that way in the 60s at the height of the civil rights movement, when America itself felt as if it might burst at the seams. So much tension, so many storms, but the people of conscience never left the house. They never ran away. They stayed. They came together, and they did the best they could, clasping hands and moving toward the corner of the house that was the weakest. And then another corner would lift, and we'd go there. And eventually, inevitably, the storm would settle, and the house would stand. But we knew another storm would come, and we would have to do it all over again, and we did. And we still do. All of us, you and I, children holding hands, walking with the wind. That's how we get through this, all of it. And it is all God. So we make up the rest. We make up the rest, and it's all God. Whatever we do in our own lives to create the life that we want, we know it's all God. And it is. Life is an adventure, and it's supposed to be an adventure. I've got another quote here, and I can't find my piece of paper. Hold on a second. La, 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 la. Oh, we did that one. Okay. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? What needs to be the next thing that happens? We know that a couple of days ago we were told that if we're vaccinated, we don't need to wear these. And the first thing that happened for a number of people is, okay, I know I'm vaccinated, so I'm okay. And I don't need to wear masks, but I don't trust you. because I don't know whether you've really had a vaccine or not, or whether you're just not wearing a mask because you don't want to wear a mask. And so I have to not trust you. And I have to be better than you are because I am vaccinated and you're not. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. We are told by the Science of Mind, by Ernest Holmes and a number of other people, that we can do whatever we choose to do, that we can create the life we want using this little piece of paper over here. We can create the life we want just because we do have God in here. That universal power that made me who I am and made you who you are has the power to overcome anything that comes our way. So the truth is, frankly, I don't care whether you're vaccinated or not. I love you. And I trust you. And as much as I trust you, I also trust myself to know that I am safe. And my life is good. And I can continue to be the Pollyanna that I've always been, because I find that a lot more fun than being scared. What about you? Yes. So what do we do about that? What do we really have to offer? Everything, it turns out. Within each of us is the essence of being, which is in all things. Call it God, life, energy, consciousness. When we're helping another, they feel that they are not isolated entities, lonely being. They feel us there with them, that we are in this together. One of my favorite people said that, Ram Dass. Do you remember him? Fabulous. And I'm going to quit with just this. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can do. Edward Everett Hale said that, and we know that is true. I can't do everything, but I can show up in love, with or without this, and with a deep sense of trust in the universe and in you. And I find that good. So, blessings. Let's move into prayer. We begin by knowing that everyone in this room is God. That everyone in this room is good. And that it's all good because it's all God. And breathing into that, I recognize and I feel around me this beautiful energy. I know you feel it too. And as I sit in this energy field, I know I am in the lap of God. And that I am surrounded by people who care, who love me, who are me. And as we know that and breathe that feeling right now, we take it in. We vow to make it a part of this day, knowing that as we walk away from this today, that feeling, that knowing, that trust, that love for ourselves and each other goes with us. And we know, because this is true, that it serves the world, that what I can do is to love everyone I meet, and this I do today. I meet people face to face, eye to eye, and I love them. I know that God is everywhere, that wherever I am is sacred ground, and it is good. So knowing this is so, I simply release these thoughts, move into the next step of my life in joy and in love. And we let it be. And so it is.
am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And so we are. Okay. Now, this is one of those subjects that some of us might not want to talk about, but it is our time right now to share our wealth with one another, to do what we talked about earlier, to know that we can be part of the bigger picture. That money is money, but more than that, money is energy. And so right now is our opportunity to share that energy with the Salt Lake Center. We have a saying that we're going to put up on the screen in just a second, knowing that our giving right now is a way of participating in that flow of all good. We put into the river this wealth, and it shows back up here, and it shows back up anywhere. Wherever we are, there is that wealth. So if you would with me, let's say this piece. Ha, there it is. The giving affirmation. Come with me, please. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be. And so it is.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free and released. I've been set free and released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free and released. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me.
Yes. Let's welcome back to the stage Mel. Mel Sowell, back to the stage.
So this next song, I don't know if you ever heard of a songwriter named Daryl Scott, but he had a songwriters get together in his house in Nashville. And he he has this giant picture of this person holding their hands together. And it made me think of just holding on to somebody that you love, or just holding on in general, you know. So that's where the inspiration for this next song came. It's called Hold Your Hand. Warm hands will keep us strong through the cold. And I know that you're used to letting know this is bigger than me. This is bigger than you. We don't have us. What can we do? I'm gonna hold your hand tonight. We can make this love feel right, alright. There's a whole world out there that would crush our dreams. I'm gonna hold your hand while you hold me. Fear has caused us both to separate. Bitter, empty words that we can't take, and we may disagree at the end of the night. If we're apart and that feel right, I'm gonna hold your hand tonight. We can make this love feel right, alright. There's a whole world out there that would crush our dreams, but I'm gonna hold your hand while you hold me. And the last may not be over yet, but the truth is we don't know. Will our last words be filled with regret? Or come from a place of love? 'Cause your heart is always close to mine. It's earned through memories and time, and we've been here before, so we know how to bend, and we know we'll begin again. I'm gonna hold your hand Thank you.
So sweet. Thank you, Mel. Wow. And Myrna, thank you. I have to admit, there was a stone that dropped into my stomach when you said, I can't do everything by myself. I just don't know if I've ever believed that about you. Nor have I seen any evidence, so I appreciate your humility. What a wonderful day. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for sharing this time with us. We sure enjoy sharing it with you. You have a blessed week. Let's stand together. And before we sing our closing song, I just want to remind you about our annual gathering meeting after the service. Those of you, anybody is invited to participate. If you want to vote, you need to be a member, and you can do that today. There's sign-up sheets to renew a membership or become a member out in the lobby area, in the foyer. Is that right?
Just to renew. You can't become a member, but you can renew your membership today.
Okay. So let's stand together, sing our closing song. Together, we can change the world.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out, find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. I could start this by myself, but I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sailing past where it's been charted. Roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. With our hands and with our hearts, we can dare to make a start. Together we can change the world. What if we spoke with one voice, knowing that we have a choice? Together we can change the world. I can start this by myself, but I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sailing past where it's been charted. Roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world.